Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV, welcome back to the Magpie Channel podcast. We're here live as always for your Tuesday evening entertainment at Anarchy Brewery. Hopefully we are live. There we go, the numbers are finally came in. I was fearful that it hadn't worked there.
Doesn't work, man.
Great. Let us know if you can hear us and see us all right. Shout out to everyone that's tuned in already. And remember, you can scan that QR code in the top corner of your screen if you would like some Anarchy Brewery delightful cans of goodness, including the world-famous War beer. Loads of topics to get through, and of course, we're going to have to look ahead to that massive game tomorrow night at Old Trafford, which I will be at. Stay tuned on the channel. I've got something very interesting, very special, coming up, very different for tomorrow night's big game. Let's start off, though, Keg, with the game that happened just a couple of days ago. Brighton and Hove Albion, the Seagulls at home, a draw.
Said it'd be fucking 1-1.
Did you? Is that what you said? Called it?
I don't think I did on the podcast last week, so you might think I'm talking shit. But I think I said it to someone on Thursday night. I can't remember who we were talking to with the Spider-Man fiasco.
You said Gutierrez is going to be 1-1, did you?
I did. I told Jonas again, hey, Spidey, it's going to be 1-1, eh?
See you.
Just Brighton. It's just a kind of typical draw, isn't it? Like I think the majority of the fixtures against us in recent years, maybe apart from the last two. I think when we first came up, both came up in 2017, wasn't it?
When we picked them to the championship.
Each of the first few results were all like 1-1s or 0-0s, weren't they? They were all relatively boring, scrappy games. The last couple of years since we both got good, like credit to Brighton as well. In the last 2 years or so, they've got very, very good, just as we have as well. They're a bit more interesting these days, but that wasn't the best of ones.
It was.
1-1.
I was going to say it was uncharacteristic because it wasn't a great performance at all, but it's not uncharacteristic of Newcastle United just to not get it nicely done. Get the job done nice and easy, boys. Because now we're going to Old Trafford and we're like, if we're going to draw, then it means we'll at least get top 7. Imagine if we just got that win at home, final home game of the season, top 7's ours, and then we'll just maybe see what happens tomorrow, but then beat Brentford.
Nice little competition with Chelsea and all, because like a draw against Man United guarantees that we'll finish above them, and we'll finish in the top 7, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll finish ahead of Chelsea. Like Chelsea could still pip on the final day.
That
little cushion and an extra little 2 points wouldn't have gone amiss.
Wouldn't know, because I think it probably gave Chelsea a bit of a lift going in that half-5 kick-off. Seeing Newcastle do that, we knew that Arsenal were going to do the business over Manchester United, so Chelsea did a comeback. They went 2-1 with 7 minutes to go. They came back. They found a way, which is something Newcastle couldn't do. At home, Brighton, we just couldn't find a way. We just couldn't get that final pass, that final ball, and we just didn't threaten them enough.
Frustrating game, but we'll touch on some of the strikers in a minute. But from what Eddie Howe says today, obviously Wilson missed out on the squad again. Shock. Isaac didn't. I think he must have had a bit of an illness. I don't know if he was like fully ready for it.
Got what I've got and what you had.
Yeah, I know. So I think we're just a bit lacking. I think with like Isaac's our main guy, and he it's hard to stop him scoring. Like, was he like 7 home games in a row or something like that?
It was,
so this has broke his ducks, and you can tell he just wasn't right. And without Wilson fit, it's another one of them games where we've had to play him. And we'll probably touch on it later on. Man United tomorrow night it might be the same thing because neither one of them's trained up until today at least. Anyway, we'll see how they're getting on. But it's again, that's it for the last 15 weeks in a row. Now we're going to make it 16. You need 3 strikers in your bastard squad, man. Like 2 strikers just isn't good enough. It's ridiculous. Like it makes it more unfathomable. Like that. Obviously, Wilson's injured every bloody week. And Isaac has his injury issues and all. So coming into the season with these 2 was barbaric. Like I just never understood it. And now we're back to this situation where we've been in multiple times this season. It's been fine since around about January time, I think, because Isaac's been fit and been banging them in. He's been in wicked form. Prior to that, he was playing injured, not in his best of form because he wasn't 100%, but Wilson wasn't there, so he had to. There's no one else.
No.
We're back to square one now with 3 massive games, including Brighton, with Man United tomorrow and Brentford on Sunday. Last 3 games, huge games, massive push to try and get into that Europa League, 6th place. And we haven't got a fit striker.
No, it's crazy. Isn't it? Tell you what, though, Papi Cisse was interviewed at the weekend. Get him in! 1 week deal.
Just make sure he's learned what the offside rule is. Maybe Harry.
Well, anyone else has. Remember, Almiron doesn't know what the offside rule is. Jesus, how couldn't he stay on side for that goal he sets up for goal, and that's the winner. How can you not just
frustrating.
watch the line there, man, Miggy? Oh, my days. But it was a very frustrating afternoon, a pretty flat afternoon, do you think?
Yeah.
You know, it sound like Ty from Arsenal Fan TV, yeah, but, you know, the weather had something to do with it. Too hot, too humid.
That's bollocks.
No, I mean, couldn't handle it. Brazilians couldn't handle it.
These Brazilians can't handle this Geordie heat.
Joey Sunshine, didn't see it coming.
Almiron and all them, it's too hot for India. That's a bollocks excuse. But I think last home game of the season, like put on a show, man. Like for some of you, that's the last time that anyone will ever see you.
Yeah.
I think it's the Premier League. Every game should be a big game, but I think especially the last home game of the season, like obviously fans miss football. It's a long summer. Thankfully, we've got 2 away games and we've got the Euros, pre-season friendlies and stuff. But the gap between last Premier League game and then first Premier League game seems like years, doesn't it? Like it's such a miss, the Premier League. And yeah, like your last home game of the season, put on a show for your fans, man. Like,
Right.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like this was a big game. We needed the 3 points. Brighton's been in shit form. Like, there was no reason not to get 3 points. So heat and whatever other excuse, bollocks, nah.
Because I was speaking to Brighton fans on the way up, and they were like, "Oh, you're going to batter us today."
Yeah.
And a lot of Newcastle fans have saying, "Oh, 4-0. And they're going to go out in the high and everything." And we had everything to play for. We had the European football insights. Brighton have got absolutely zilch to play for. So it was set up to be like a perfect day out, wasn't it?
Had to have been a win, yeah. It was a nice day, nice weather. Couldn't have been a better end of the season.
No, couldn't have.
Just get them 3 points. Nice little 4-1, something like that. Be lovely. But nah, couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. But anyways, a couple of positives to take out of the game was that we did manage to score. We did manage to avoid defeat. And in doing so, scoring that goal, made Newcastle the first team to score every home game in the Premier League in over 65 years for us.
Yeah.
So that's a good record going back some time. So that shows Eddie Howe's entertainers have been in full effect. And they have. Someone could point back to the Brighton game, but then you can point back to the Bournemouth and Luton games where there were draws. But high scoring draws, lots of goals.
Yeah,
it's been seen at St James's, where it still has been a fortress this year. We've only lost 3 times.
Yeah.
Liverpool, Man City, then Chris Wood.
If you look at the goal difference now, and all, like, whatever happens between us and Man United and then last game of the season with Chelsea, like, if we're level points with someone, we're going to beat them on goal difference.
Yeah.
Like, we're miles better than Man United, and they're fair bit better off than Chelsea as well. So we could easily finish level on points with Chelsea. That's not unrealistic, but if we do, we've got the better goal difference, so we'll finish above them. So that's good news. Even if the results don't go our way, we can always kind of fall back on that, like, we're going to beat us anyway if you don't better our results. So, yeah, we've got that going forward. Yeah, Eddie's entertainers, lots and lots of goals. So it's been a fun season. It's been a frustrating season for the most part, but it's been a hell of a season. We'll get into our season review next week, but it's been a wicked season. And like I say, the goals and whatnot. Like, it seems a bit of a mad record. It's like first Newcastle team to score in a home game, every home game in 65 years. It seems mad, but it's not really. Like, how many like 0-0s do you get? Or you get beat by a goalless score. To score a goal in every single home league game, it's some achievement, that, like, to be
It's
fair.
amazing.
Like, it's good, isn't it?
It's amazing, especially when you're coming up against your Man Cities and your Liverpools and even your Arsenals now, who we've done well against. Like, you think back in the day, we wouldn't be scoring against. Brighton, we should always be a 0-0. But like Watford and that, you know what I mean? We're getting beat off teams like this on the break, and oh my dear. So, you know, there's plenty of times in the past where you've gone to St James's Park and you've been beat 2-0, 3-0, it's been 0-0. So
I think it might have been the 2019 season, obviously pre-COVID. We watched a Brighton Newcastle home game. We didn't get tickets, so watched it in Shearer's upstairs. And I've got to say, even to this day, it's probably the most boring game I've ever seen in my life. Just the most, like...
Who's manager?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's Chris Hughton for them. Who was ours?
Was it
Brucey? It was probably Brucey.
Would have been Brucey. Got to be Brucey Bar.
No, yeah. I think it might be Brucey. Just the most, like, lackluster game I've ever seen. No chances. Just 0-0. Just the worst game. Like, when you say that end-to-end entertainment, that was the fucking pure opposite. Like, I think I turned off after about 60 minutes. I was just getting pissed. Couldn't be asked.
It sounds like every match day pre-takeover, to be honest.
Yeah, thankfully times have changed a little bit. But like I say, them games, goalless, where you've got no chance of scoring a goal, no attacking threat, can't even pass the ball to the final third under Brucey. So yeah, to score a goal in every single home game, it's mad. Yeah, really, really
Very good.
Yeah.
And what else is good? Sean Longstaff's form. He's the goal scoring form.
I know. At least someone can score. Put him up front.
We have to tomorrow.
I know.
Get that team new soon.
Anyone else?
But he went 3 months or so without finding the back of the net. And then 2-2 for Longstaff. And then we know Longstaff likes playing at Old Trafford. Nearly Matty. But hopefully Longstaff carry on the family name, the family tradition, and get these 3-3. But a bit of a resurgence Longstaff in there. You know, he's playing without injury and maybe.
Has it been confirmed that he's over his fitness injuries?
Eddie was asked about it in the press conference today, and he said, to his knowledge, he's not getting injections anymore.
Well, that's good. So yeah, he had a broken foot and like a twisted ankle or something, didn't he? So he had 2 knackered feet. And that's been the reason for his poor form, and everyone's been slagging him off for months on end. But he's been playing because he's had to, basically. He's like, them 2 broken feet's better than Tonali's injuries and whatever's been keeping Joe Linton on and Willock out. Like, he's been the fittest of the lot of them, which is insane to say because he's had 2 broken feet. But that's just how bad the midfield form has been in terms of injuries and personnel this season. It's been absolute shit show. So, yeah, hopefully he is past that now. And, got 2 goals in 2 games. So, yeah, hopefully that can continue tomorrow night.
Absolutely, because you mentioned it, may have to go up top. There's got striker issues. Those striker issues, we briefly talked about it at the start, though. Apparently, it's down to illness, so you might be able to hear and see in my voice that I've been ill for a week now. You were ill on last week's podcast.
I'm recovering. I've still got sniffles a little bit, but I'm through the worst of it.
Horrendous head cold. I just can't breathe through my nose, coughing all the time, so apologies, people who are listening. But we'll persevere. And then I knew a few people that missed the game against Brighton, and I did myself included, because of something that's going around that is this just horrible May flu, because the temperature changes, I guess. Yeah. And the ones that's fallen accustomed to that is also Newcastle's 2 strikers. Anyone else in the team's injured, by the way. Dummett's fine. Yeah. Longstaff's fine. Yeah. Everyone else is rosy, Danny. Tonali's probably on tip-top fitness.
Richie, Karius, Gillespie, fighting fit.
Fighting fit. But our only 2 strikers at the club have got the floozies. That's typical, because at first it was reported that it was tightness in the hamstring yet again of Callum Wilson.
Yeah, I thought it was an injury. Yeah, I thought that was what kept him out. But
how is said today, they've both got the same illness. So,
and that's why Isaac had to come off, because I think he was touch and go for the Brighton game.
You can clearly tell that Isaac just got pumped full of painkillers, totally get on with it, and was just, because that's the worst of it. It wasn't him. No. He was non-existent. Yeah, didn't get in the game at all.
And like he was in around about the sort of November, December time when he was forced back from an injury because Wilson went out. So, yeah, it's just another one of them, just a bit lackluster, because there's obviously something the matter with him. And couldn't he? When did he get taken out? Just after an hour or something?
Just after an hour.
Yeah.
And we went down to that 3 up front, including Anthony Gordon down the middle. Eddie Howe said, you've just talked about it again, the need for a 3rd striker. He classes Gordon as that 3rd striker, but yes, he found the back of the net at the end, but it was offside because of Almiron. But that just didn't really click either. And Harvey Barnes had 1 chance, which he kind of scuffed towards the keeper. But it shows the reliance on them 2, doesn't it? Because I think if Isaac, obviously as he did, have the flu, if Wilson was there, ready to come on, that is the perfect moment for Callum Wilson. That is why there is an argument to keep him if he was available.
He had 2 and 2, didn't he?
Because if he's because if you bring on Callum Wilson from half an hour ago, that's like the bread and butter for me.
Yeah,
that's
that is what he's
tiring legs, his movement, you'll get in the right place at the right time, and he'll slot it home. But
super sub, Ollie Solskjaer 99.
But with both of them being out illness, that's an absolute nightmare. What a nightmare.
It is. It's a shame, and just reiterating that need for a 3rd striker. And Anthony Gordon, Paul Dummett can play left back, but should he? Gordon can play there. But
even Dummett, to be fair,
it's taken away an option. I know we've got other options in his position, like Barnes can play on the left wing. So it's not like we're missing Gordon if he doesn't play on the left wing, but that's where he's best. And for me, said it last week, he's been the best left winger or left forward in the Premier League this season. So why would you take him out of that position? Even if we've got Barnes and Gordon can play as a number 9, but we shouldn't have to do that. Why take the best player in his respective position out of his position? It just makes no sense. Don't buy it. Need a 3rd striker. Need to keep Gordon where he's best on that left-hand side for as long as possible. And whatever happens with Almiron, Barnes, Murphy, it doesn't matter. Gordon and Isaac are being my 2 best players this season. Once you take Isaac out and move Gordon away from his best position, what's the fucking point? 2 best players and one's out of position. like absolutely pointless.
Yeah. Let's hope we've got one of them back at least for tomorrow night. We'll talk about that Man United game very soon. Remember, you can send in super chats as well. Support the channel that way, and we'll guarantee to read those comments out. Any questions, any thoughts, get them in a super chat. But I will be generous and read out the ones from members as well, including Eddie Wolf, who's just asked on the top of Gordon, what do you think about his link to Liverpool for £100 million? 100 million isn't enough. As Eddie says, he's only been here, so he's had one good season. Now they want to take him back to Liverpool, Any chance?
No, well, I think Eddie Howe mentioned it in his press conference. Like him and Isaac are just indisputable. Like there's absolutely no chance that they're going to get moved on for any amount of money. It doesn't matter. I've seen some debate on Twitter about someone saying, "Oh, why would he go to Liverpool? Because he's an Everton fan." But supposedly he's a Liverpool fan.
He's a Liverpool fan, not an Everton fan.
And who did we mention last week? It was Eze and his link to Man United because he's a Man United fan. Elise, sorry. So yeah, like you're gonna want to go to the team that you grew up supporting, aren't you? Like that would maybe be your end goal in your career to play at least one season for them.
Yeah.
But right now, it would be a shame, and I think you'd do well in Everton's team and in Liverpool's team, especially if it was a right-sided player, because I don't know what the future of Mo Salah is.
Yeah, they're going to accept the big Saudi bid, maybe.
Yeah, that could be like a bit of a change-up for them, but nah, we shouldn't sell him. I know he might want to move eventually in his career, probably not right now because he's doing so well with Newcastle, and yeah, they would want him. I think he would fit in well with their team, but I think it's just not a good move for anybody right now. 5-6 years down the line, maybe, but right now, no chance, and we shouldn't be selling them for whatever the price tag.
No, definitely not. And I think if you look at Liverpool now, they're in a total transition period coming up.
Well, there will be,
without Jurgen Klopp now, with that Arnie Slot's coming in, and if Salah leaves and Trent's linked to leaving, so there's lots of permutations for Liverpool. Like, so I don't think it'll be a good timing for him. Really good. No, I think he's bought in this project anyway. I think he loves it here. Came across the overlap interview well, didn't it? So I think he's going to stick.
And he said when we'll win something, because he knows he's going to win something.
Aye.
Like, yeah, he's maybe got more of a chance of winning something with Liverpool, because at least they'll be in the Champions League and they're always like up at the top end of the Premier League. So he's got more chance of winning things with Liverpool. But this is like a project that a lot of players can get their teeth sunk into, and it's a big sell. Like some players that might not have came, like a Bruno or whatever, even Isaac. Like he was after, like big teams were after him at the time. Whoever else, Botman. Like I think it's the project that sold players. And like, yeah, we might not win something next year or 2 years, maybe it's not even 3 years, but we are going to win something and we're going to build something. I think being a part of that building process is attractive for a footballer, because you only get one career, and a career's short. You'd be lucky to get 20 years. So being a part of something growing and then eventually winning something would be a bit more satisfactory than just going somewhere and just win something in your first season. I'm doing class. Didn't know to achieve it. like Haaland, like he achieved it because he scored like 36 goals or whatever. Or Grealish.
Grealish would be good as well.
Yeah, well done. You left your boyhood club and you won something in your first year at class. How do you feel good about that?
But when I look at Gordon as well on the lap of honour after the Brighton game there on the weekend, he's on the pitch playing with his recently born newborn baby. So I think he's got a lot going on in his plate. I think he'd be happy here to settle, working already how and develop at all. And I honestly don't think the club would accept even a massive delay. They'd be like, at his age and he's English, you'd be mental to get rid of him. Mental.
We spoke about Bruno and Isaac in the past few weeks.
I'm going to blow my nose.
We spoke about Bruno and Isaac over the past few weeks about transfer rumours and links with them around about £100 million bids.
Missed the bin. Apologies.
I think 100 million opens a conversation. Anything less than 3 figures, jog on. And I think it'd be the same for Gordon. 100 million's a bloody good offer, especially if FFP isn't going to change this summer. Could be huge for us to get that kind of revenue brought in. But do you want to sell one of your star assets? Not right now. I think it's worth keeping them. Fuck FFP. Keep your best players.
I want ambition.
Yeah, and 100 million's an opening offer. We're going to negotiate from there, but I want to see what was Rice, 120? I want to start talking about 120 million.
Yeah, definitely. And they talked about the lap of honour there in Gordon. Everyone was talking about Bruno.
Yeah.
After his body language was deemed to be that of someone who's leaving the club by a lot of worried fans on social media. Saying, oh, look at him. He's so upset. He's crying his eyes out there. He's on the pitch. He's devastated. He's going to be leaving. He knows this is his last moment at St. James's Park. I don't believe that for a minute.
Social media, people can get themselves on a high horse, or they can start a rumour and everyone jumps on it. So they can just think, why has he got his hand? Yes, he's leaving. Oh, he's leaving. That's it. Definitely leaving. Right, and then
that's a different kind of wave.
Then everyone else is like, he has got his hands. Maybe he is leaving. Like, it just goes around like that. It's a vicious, vicious circle of social media. You read whatever it is, and then people just start believing it. So I don't think so. I think he's here. He's another one that we spoke about recently. He's happy here. Yes, he's had rumours, a lot of links. Going to have probably more links and probably going to have some offers that we're going to have to start batting away. But no, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think that was looked into a little bit more. Maybe he's hurt. Hopefully not. Well, maybe he was wincing a little bit. Like maybe that's why he was trying to cover his face a little bit, trying to hide an injury.
I think he's just so he's a very emotional bloke. I just think he's so disappointed and a bit pissed off like the fans at that result. Maybe he's thinking, I might come back to bite with the arse.
And like I just said, he loves playing at St. James's Park, and he's not going to be able to play there for 4 months. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's maybe he is going to miss St. James's Park, but not because he's leaving. Not because he's going to get to fucking Japan.
Australia next week. He's got a Copa America. Got a busy summer, Bruno. He's whinging at that, actually. He's probably thinking, yes, I've got Barbados next. I've got Australia. I've got the Copa America. Then I've got to go to Japan. His missus will be raging.
Maybe it is in the back of his mind that maybe it is his last game at St. James's Park. Maybe he doesn't know where his future lies. He knows where he wants. He doesn't want to leave, but that's not really in his hands. Like, I don't know if it was a year ago today, or was it a year ago yesterday? I think it was yesterday when we were at Craven Cottage a few years ago. Let's see.
What a day that was.
I think it was yesterday.
Rafa's last game.
Year ago yesterday. We were at Craven Cottage, last game of the season of the 2017-18 season, I think it was. Or was it 18-19 season? And I remember having an emotional farewell to Isaac Hayden. He was the only one.
Still here this day.
He was the only one guaranteed to leave the club that summer because he wanted it. Like he wasn't happy. He said earlier in the season he wanted to be back down south with his family. So I think Mo Diarmi was coming out of contract, so there was a little bit of question marks around him. But Isaac Hayden was the only one that we knew was going to leave the club that summer, and everyone was in the stands singing, "Oh, Isaac Hayden, blah blah blah." Still fucking here 5 years later.
Can't get rid of him.
6 even 5 years, right? But we didn't know that Mo Diarmi was a question mark. We thought he might leave, but we didn't know then that we were saying bye to Rafa Benitez. It was also Jose Perez's last game.
Not anyways,
Yeah, Perez, Benitez. Well, Benitez was coming out of contract, but I think we all hoped and prayed
he was going
to sign
on that day.
So
Someone was saying, the reporters are saying a new one and all that. So.
Well, yeah, Jose Perez ended that season in great form. We didn't think he'd be going anywhere. Like, you just never know. It's football. It's a business at the end of the day. So there's no guarantees where players are going to be playing next season for anybody. Like, if we get a £120 million offer for Bruno, he might go. Mm-hmm. There's no guarantees. So I think there's a lot of things that went into the hands over his face. Like, he might just be missing St. James's Park. He might not want the season to end. He might be disappointed with the result. He might be injured. He might not know what his future is. But yeah, everyone just bang. He's leaving.
He's out of here.
Yeah, people just reading into that far too much.
They are for me. I just think it was just a reaction to the game and a reaction to the deflating draw and a reaction to is that Europa League, is that Conference League, is it nothing?
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about now, to be fair, because there's obviously permutations around this, right? So it is good news in Newcastle United's hands. We're not relying on other results necessarily. We're the one with a better goal difference. We do our job. We win our next 2 games. We get 6, which does get you Europa League. Unless Manchester United beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final, which isn't going to happen. I see people worrying about it, and I see people saying, what's wrong? Injured?
Just hit me elbow off a nut.
What's him out, man? You tomorrow?
I'm injured.
You'll be playing in front tomorrow, aren't you?
And I was getting my boots shined in. That's me. Can't do it.
That's you. I'm out. I've got the flu, me and HIJACK. So as I was saying, everyone's worried, thinking, Man U are going to do it. It's just Newcastle's luck. We'll somehow get European football, and we're going to take it out of our hands because they will beat City in the final. That is not going to happen. no way is that going to happen. Man City will win that FA Cup and they'll win it quite comfortably. Yeah. So, we win our games, we get 6. That's Europa League. However, if we don't, and Chelsea bet our results, or Man United, if they won the last 2 games, either team from Newcastle, Chelsea, Man U could finish 6th and then get Europa League. If we got 7th, that would get you Conference League. Mm-hmm. So, question is, Europa League or Conference League for the reasons of the following. So, Trippier the other day said it is vital that we get some form of European football. Eddie Howe has said, he's been kind of refuting the questions on Europa League, it's got to be Europa League. He said any form of European football will be a success. Yeah. So, Europa League be the Conference League. Would you rather be in the Conference League against obviously lesser opposition, however, resulting in you being more favourable to win a trophy? Because
like West Ham?
Like West Ham. You think obviously Conference League, teams aren't as good. Or the Europa League, where it's obviously more prestigious. Some people still frown upon the Conference League to piss out of it a little bit. Yeah. However, Europa League is respected more. Listen, Liverpool have been in this year, couldn't win it. Yeah. By Leverkusen are there. The opposition in the Europa League is very, very good. So, what would you lean towards as being the better option for Newcastle United next year?
I think no-brainer, Europa League. Yeah. I think you need to... Where we are right now, in terms of being, nearly 3 years, 2.5 years into the takeover, Europa League is very respectable. And I feel like that's our level. I think last year we're overachieved getting Champions League. Yes, that's the long-term goal, but I don't want to say we're proved we weren't good enough because we competed like hell against 2 semi-finalists. Yeah. So we've done ourselves very, very proud. But I do think it was a bit of a step too far. Like, we're not cut out for the Champions League just yet. Europa League's perfect. I get what you're saying about the Conference League. Is it any European football is great, and the Conference League, we've got to be one of the top favourites to win it. Europa League, I still think we can go far. But as you've said, Liverpool's been knocked out by it, and there's Leverkusen who's on for an unbeaten treble, which is insane. Mental. Yeah, I think Europa League, because A, it's a better competition, B, more competition, like more prestigious competition. And I just think that's all level. I don't think, people call it the Conference League a bit of a tin pot competition. I wouldn't agree so. If we've got it, great. Yeah. It's European football, so I couldn't give a shit. I'm happy enough with it. But I think Europa League's all level, and we shouldn't be lowering ourselves to that after a year in the Champions League. So, yeah, I think Europa League's absolutely perfect. If we get Conference League, I'll settle for that.
And a couple of the members here make some good points. Europa League, decent trophy to fight for, and then obviously you get Champions League if you win it.
That's true.
So we get a trophy and guaranteed Champions League, we'll just finish 11th. Who gives a shit? Jimmy Alt as well, Europa League is a winnable tournament for us, or at least something we can go for. And considering Atalanta is in the final, who obviously knocked out Liverpool.
That's what I mean. I think we could still go far. I think you go into the Conference League, we've got to be one of the top favourites, top 3 favourites, maybe.
Might go against us. That when the hell have we ever been a favourite for a trophy?
Exactly. Europa League might not. Maybe it's one of the top 6 favourites.
Yeah, definitely one of the top seeds. I
think we can definitely go to at least the quarterfinals in it. It just depends on the draws after that. But I do think we could win it. I think it's quite favourable. Like, look at teams in the past. Like, I'm maybe talking a bit longer than I care to imagine. Yeah, but Fulham went to 1 a few years. I think Middlesbrough went to 1.
Fulham went to 1. Got beat in the final off Atletico Madrid because they beat Juventus 4-1 in the semi-final.
Did Middlesbrough not get to 1?
Middlesbrough got to 1 and our
Rangers got to 1.
Aye, Middlesbrough got to 1 and got pumped as well in the final. Yeah, Rangers. Aye.
So if Middlesbrough, Rangers, and Fulham can get to a final, then we fucking can.
You get to look at the draw, which we won't. Group of death.
We can say Juventus, like. It's European competition, like anything can happen. Like FA Cup, anything can happen. Like Fulham pumping Juventus, I would have thought that.
Exactly.
So yeah, anything can happen. Like I do think we would be a top favourite. Maybe it's not the favourite, but we can go far, do ourselves proud. Quarterfinals, great. I think semi-finals more than achievable, and could even go on to win it. So, yeah.
Wow! Imagine Newcastle in the European final. That'd be amazing. So that shows how important this week is. But I agree. I would rather be in the Europa League because it is more respected, more prestigious, better opposition. I know it'll be funny going to the middle of bloody Baku and slapping up teams, but Kazakhstan and that on a Thursday night. But nah, give me like Ajax on a Thursday night.
That's a good point.
Like a decent team.
That's the guy mix there. So you just said the winner of the Europa League gets a spot in the Champions League, but you get to go in pot 1 as well.
Oh, so we'll be top boys.
Yeah. Whereas we were pot 4 last time, and that's how we ended up in the bloody group of death.
Stitched right off.
But yeah, if you end up in pot 1, then yeah, you're the top boys. So you maybe get a favourable draw. I think it's good that you get good competition. I wouldn't necessarily want an easy draw.
No.
I think you've got to beat the best to be the best, in my opinion. So the better the competition, the better for me. But yeah, being in pot 1 would be fucking mid.
And it never normally works out that way as well. Look at Man United's group, the Champions League. They got knocked out just like us, and they had Copenhagen and that. So
what were they? Were they pot 1 now?
No, they wouldn't have been pot 1 now, but they had such an easy group, though, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
They still got knocked clean out. So I imagine if we're sitting here in a year's time with the European final, look forward to.
Yeah.
Europa League final. That would be scary. It would be amazing. But we've got to do the job first. So what was the next topic there, King? As we've talked about that, we may as well go on to some transfer news now before we come back and finish on the Man United preview. So as you would have seen in the title, Tosin and Kelly are close. The title got changed though, because an hour or so ago, it came out that Manchester United are trying to hijack Newcastle United's move for Adebayo, the free agent from Fulham this summer.
Of course they are.
So all the reports were yesterday saying the agents have met with Newcastle United on the weekend, the deal's progressing, talks are ongoing well, Adebayo really buys in to the Newcastle project. He fancies the move. Exactly. Romano was like, Newcastle can expect to tie up deals for Lloyd Kelly and Tosin Adebayo very soon. But the news, as I've just said, this evening is that Man United now want to speak to Tosin as well, because
of course they do.
The news came out earlier from Old Trafford that Rafael Varane is going to leave, so they need a new centre-back. So they're trying to steal Adebayo.
Just like everybody else. Do they just want to be with? Do they just want to put them in black and white? You want to change?
Well, they nearly did this year. That kit they've got, stripes. The green and white one, you know what I mean?
They just didn't want to make it black and white, so we just thought, we'll just change the colour a little bit. We'll just put a bit of dark green in the...
And actually, they had that black and white kit the year before. You know, there's everyone with mad stripes all over the place.
Get off me dick, man, will you?
There's only one United in town now, that's why, man.
Hey, they just want to be with so badly.
Ashraf, want to take HIJACK, now taking future star signings, Tosin. Yeah. What do you reckon then? How do you think that's changed things? Do you think Adebayo will be like, nah, I'd like the Newcastle project, I'm on my way there? Or do you think you'll be like, ooh, actually, I'll tell you what, I might listen to that now?
I would say from an outsider where he's got no ties, he's not a Newcastle fan, he's not a Man United fan, he's not from Newcastle, he's not from Manchester. I think it's for him, it's worth listening to, because Man United are a big club, like they're a massive historic club, one of the biggest franchises, one of the best names in sport, not just in football, but put them against like the Yankees and any baseball NFL team. Like Man United are one of the biggest sporting franchises in the world. Yeah, they've been shite for the past 10 years. but like, it's going to be hard to turn down, and especially if they're going to try and change things around, got new owners, investors, they want to try and change things, bring culture back. They're as much of a project as what we are these days, and that's mad to say.
They are.
Yeah, like obviously
they've got more work to do than us.
Yeah, back in the Fergie day, like it was just win the league, win the Champions League, win the FA Cup sound. Basically, what City are now, like it was just a piece of piss. Same for Man United, win everything. Yeah. that was it. Like so now, like they've got knee culture. They've got players that didn't want to play for them, just getting far too much money, couldn't give a shit. Out in the Belfast getting pissed. Like, they've just got that is shit. They're just a dead club. So they're a project with the name, and they can maybe pay more as well. I don't know about wages or whatever. Like, so, but I think if he's got any sort of morals, if he's already sort of give like a verbal agreement that he's going to sign for Newcastle, handshake. So much so that it's already been reported by Fabrizio Romano or whatever, then yeah, it's going to be a difficult conversation for him. Like, I think between him and his agent, well, to be fair, that's something that could come down to an agent fees, because they have a big say in things these days. So.
That was apparently a bit of a stalling point until the weekend. Agent fees, because the agent fee was high.
Well, if we've agreed to it, then Man United need to match it. And then instead of going around in circles and the agent being like, oh, I want blah, blah, blah. Like, well, we've already agreed to deal with Newcastle, so if you're not going to give us that, then we'll just go and sign for Newcastle. So at least I think we're in pole position right now. I think we've got the best chance The gentleman's agreement's been done. The agent's fees have been agreed. It should be done, but you throw a big name like Man United into the mix and it complicates things. So,
the issue is Manchester United can pay him higher wages.
Yeah.
That's the problem for me because we won't. We'll be quite stringent with our process and our budget, and they'll know what can be put on him. Whereas Man United are just off the tits.
Yeah,
they'll just offer him mad money.
As a member said there, Man United pays outrageous wages, but I think that's a cultural thing that they need to shift. Like what I've just said, like there's no culture because like Marcus Rashford's getting like fucking 380 grand a week or something like that.
That's insane.
You're just paying your players to come here that don't really want to be here. You're just paying their wages. I was like, if you make them like work for their wages a little bit, like earn it, then maybe they'll actually want to turn up on the field instead of just cashing checks, and that's basically it.
It'll be interesting to see if they do change that model with the new majority owners in Ineos and how they're going to go about things with Jim Ratcliffe, because under the previous regime, giving Rashford 380 grand a week, giving Casemiro at 31, 32 when they signed him, a 4-year deal on £375,000 a week.
What was De Gea? Was he on like 450 or something like that?
They finally got rid of him, but the money the money that they give out to people is absurd, man. So Newcastle are probably going to offer Tosin. It's reported that it'd be about 100 grand a week.
I think that's what we were going to give him.
That's what we're going to give him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Man U would quite happily probably double that because they can afford to.
I mean, if they do, then crack on.
Or even if they just said to him, "Oh, well, here's 140," he's probably going to think.
Yeah, I think even 120 could seal it if they maybe up the agent fees as well. But for me, I think even for our sake, 100 grand for him, I think it's too much, to be honest. I wouldn't be comfortable paying that for him. But I think he's a good player, and I think if it gets the deal done, then great. If Man United want to go and give him 200, then crack on. Do what you want. Like when I don't think we should pay him any more than 100 grand. If Man United didn't want to give him anywhere between 120 to 200, see that.
I think 100 grand's fair because of where we're at in modern football. But you're right, where you're saying like you don't want to be held at ransom and then get into a bidding war with these because
and then
there's not many.
Like Man United as well. We're just paying players far too much.
Exactly, yeah.
And that can bring up a conversation as well. Like we're talking about Tosin and Kelly is what we were going to talk about before Man United stuck their fucking beaky little noses into it. Like these signings, are the good signings? I know they're free, so you kind of grumble at the transfer fee, but where do they fit in? Are the squad players? Do they come in to compete? Because they're a little bit older than I thought. Like Tosin's about 26, 27.
26, Tosin.
So it's a good age. But I thought they were both much younger. So I was expecting them to maybe like develop a little bit more. But yeah, for the level that they're playing at that ages, I was thinking, I don't know.
You still get a good 6 years out of Tosin, though, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah, you could, but I don't know. Like I just think
Fabian Shaw.
Yeah, we want a replacement for Shaw because he's right-sided and Kelly's left-sided, so he's backup for Botman because Botman's still young as fuck. He's probably younger than Kelly. So,
Botman's younger than Kelly.
So, yeah, Kelly's squad depth and also versatile because he can play left back. So, brilliant squad depth. I think he's a great player, versatile. So, I'll allow that. Tosin, is he better than Shaw? I don't know. But if we were going to look for a long-term replacement for Shaw, because this is what we've been talking about for a while, but he's only about 32. He's not a dinosaur. He's not old. So I think if you want to look for a long-term replacement for Shaw, I want someone young. I want 21, 22. I don't want a 26, 27-year-old future replacement.
I think that'll be Diamande who we've been linked with, but it won't be this summer because of...
So again, I think Tosin's squad depth. I don't think he starts. Maybe he can, obviously, because Botman and Lascelles are going to be out. So
that's why he'll
get some game time in the first half of the season, but when Botman and Lascelles come back, he's better than Lascelles.
I think Lascelles will be sold. So his contract runs out next year, doesn't it? So
yeah.
I don't think you'll probably see Lascelles play again.
Well, possibly not.
You probably big gun in January.
So for that, we're getting two very good backup pieces. But do you pay 100 grand for a backup?
I think you probably do in this day and age. And what you can do with it is you're not paying a transfer fee, so it kind of outweighs the negative, and you offer them a bit more money because what would Tosin normally cost? 12 million or something, probably. Do you know what I mean? Like 10 to 15 million. So you're not paying any of that. So
yeah, I like Tosin. I think he's a very good player, and I'd definitely very much welcome him to St James's. But wouldn't pay him any more than 100 grand. And if Man United's going to outbid with, then crack on, see you later.
If we're offering around the same ballpark figure their own wages, which team do you choose now? Newcastle United, because obviously our project's exciting, we're on the up, Eddie Howe, everything's nice at the club. Whereas Man United, don't know if the manager's going to be there.
Yeah.
Don't know what manager would even come in because the manager market's not great. The stadium's got fucking waterfalls. You know what I mean? The stadium's falling to pieces.
Man, like TRC.
Yeah, Trafford Spring. You know what I mean? Theatre of wet dreams.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to choose?
It's difficult because you've got to...
They're a mess.
You've got to outweigh things because, as I say, Man United is one of the biggest sport franchises in the world. They've got a project going on as well, new ownership. But just Newcastle's just more stable. It's like Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Like if I was like, I think I said it a couple of weeks ago, if I was like a world-class player and I had all the biggest teams in the world for me, Barcelona's the last team I would go to because they're a fucking shit show. Like they didn't know what's going on. They kind of pay wages. They've got any money, but they're still going out and spend 70 million on players. Like they're an absolute.
It's a bit like Man United, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they've got to sell players. That's
one being in debt, but they're still signing everyone.
Yeah, that's why Messi left because they couldn't afford to buy people, and then they still spent about 200 million. Like I don't get how. I don't know. Barcelona's a mess, but Man United's similar. Like that's just such a mess right now that are trying to have a culture shift. So it's a project like us, with the big name. I think it's tough, but yeah, I think Newcastle's more stable, and I think it's a slightly more exciting project to come outside of your big six and try and become a big six. So yeah, I think Newcastle's a more promising project and a little bit more exciting, maybe coming from a bias standpoint, but Man United's Man United. They'll still attract big players no matter what.
If you had to choose then, because I'm going to say, I honestly think Man U will offer a lot more money and he'll go there now. I'm worried about this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if we've got the deal agreed, then gentlemen's agreements should stand hold. And it would be disappointing to lose them. But I just think if Man United is going to outbid with, then I just don't think we'll entertain a bidding war. I think just let him move on. Like there's other people out there. He's not the only player in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, don't end up in a bidding war. Man United are just going to end up in the same situation where they're overpaying players that maybe aren't even achieving. Like Varane's been a little bit shit the time he's been there. Really, he's done now. So. Yeah, just let him make the decisions between him and his agent. Hopefully our agreement's solid now and already kind of been agreed behind the scenes. So yeah, if Man United want to come and outbid with him, good luck there.
And then the other one, as I've said, looks like Lloyd Kelly is very close. Obviously, Howe knows him well. Howe really wants to get him in. This one's going to get done regardless of a sporting director coming in before the transfer window opens. Everyone's saying that this one is pretty much signed, sealed, delivered.
I think Eddie Howe wanted this one, didn't he? He's pushed further here.
Yeah, he knows who he is. Obviously, he can provide backup at left back and centre back. So it's a smart freebie, that one. It won't be anywhere near as much as Tosin.
No, yeah. And I like that one. I really do. Yeah, like I say, he's versatile. Years old.
Ooh. And we're back.
With a lot of Premier League experience, knows Eddie Howe, they know each other. Eddie Howe's pushed for it. I think it's a match made in heaven. I think it's really, really good. And he's a massive upgrade on Paul Dummett. But that's similar type players where Paul Dummett's the left-sided centre-back who can't play left-back. So he's just a perfect fit. Hopefully that doesn't mean... Hopefully Dummett's contract's going to run out. And
it never runs out.
And Lloyd Kelly is the replacement. I think that's a huge upgrade. Someone who can stay fit, a lot younger, offers more. So, yeah, I think that's a brilliant signing.
I agree. So we'll see who we get in. Kelly looks certain. Tosin wasn't meant to be pretty much done as well, but we'll wait and see how that one plays out. Aaron mentions, obviously, Kelly has got a bit of a stinking injury record, so he fits right in at the tune. He fits right in.
Sorry, he'll be out at his 33.
Quickly on some of the transfer targets before we talk about the Man U game tomorrow night and wrap things up, is a couple of youngsters that have been linked to the tune. So this one has been floating about for quite some time now, and I would love it to happen, just to rub salt into their Macam tears. And that is Chris Rigg, their star boy, who was set to leave the Stadium of Shame. No doubt about that. No surprise there. He's been linked with the tune for quite some time. Because he is a Newcastle fan.
Yeah, he's from somewhere.
Newcastle. He lives in Newcastle. His family... Heaven. Yeah.
From heaven.
His family are Newcastle fans as well. They go to every game and all that carry on. So Chris Rigg to the tune. He is, very highly thought after teenager. And however, there is going to be competition for some big teams. Apparently, Borussia Dortmund are a team that's linked with him as well. So that could be a stumbling block. But apart from that, well, if you're supposed to tune, though, you'd still choose us, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Or you'd choose the Champions League winners, potentially.
Well, yeah. You would fancy that. If he is a Toon fan, then it would be nice to have him. The whole Sunderland thing aside, not going to try and get caught into that. But no, I think it would be a brilliant move. He's still so young, isn't he? I think he's only about 17 now. I think he made his debut at 16, scored a goal in the Championship or was it League One? I don't know. Definitely not the Premier League though. But no, I think that would be a brilliant signing. I think from what I've heard about him, I haven't seen much of him, but for someone as young as he is and as highly rated as he is, getting first team minutes with Sunderland, who's obviously at a decent level. Like I said, I'm not going to try and slate Sunderland at this point, but if loads of other teams have been interested in him, getting regular Championship football at his young age, loads of big teams like Dortmund who work wonders with Bellingham and Sancho and Haaland and whoever else.
The young kid that's there, Ian Maatsen from Chelsea.
Yeah, classic developing young talent. So yeah, that would be a brilliant move for him. But if he is a Newcastle fan and he wants to come here, then I think it would be amazing. I think his development would maybe be a bit slower at us than it maybe would be at Dortmund. For the players I've just mentioned, how old was Bellingham when he went there? He was only 17 or something, wasn't he? 18 maybe. So with us, I feel like he goes into the academy and would develop him a little bit, maybe a loan spell. I don't think he comes in first team.
That will loan him at Dortmund then, that'll do.
That'd be class. That'd be perfect. Yeah, I think with his age, unless he's better than Miley, I don't know how much game time you would get here. You'd have to sit in the academy for 2, maybe 3 years with a loan spell or 2. So, but yeah, with his talent, I'd like to see what he looks like at 19, 20 years old. I think he could be a great talent. So if we can get him in now and spend them years developing him without forcing him in, then great. But yeah, I think Dortmund's attractive, to be fair.
It is very attractive. Yeah. Not just because they're in the Champions League final now, but just as a whole, as a club, what they stand for, the fan base, the stadium.
You could argue that Bellingham's the best player in the world right now.
Yeah.
And would he be so if he either stayed at Birmingham or he kind of had an agreement deal done with wasn't that Man United or Liverpool, Man United?
Liverpool, you've been saying
if he'd have gone there, I think again development. I think it would have been slowed down a little bit. Whereas Dortmund just fast track motherfuckers there. The development's absolutely immense there. So I think Bellingham's kind of set that footprint now. And then you look at your Sanchos and Haalands and everyone else. They know how to develop kids.
A couple of youngsters signed some professional contracts for Newcastle today as well. Yeah. Hinge and Sanusi. There's one of them, I think is it Sanusi, is represented by Tosin Adebayo's agents as well. That's where the link was. Maybe that's how they did come across for the game on the weekend. Nice. So that's good luck to them. Good luck to the team. Actually, just playing at St James's Park.
Yes, they are.
This evening in the Northumberland Senior Cup. So Alfie Harrison's playing tonight. All eyes on him, the Man City youngster. Mm-hmm. Because there's another youngster that we're looking at, very highly rated, and that's Kozia Dubry from Arsenal. Obviously, everyone just calls him the next Saka. Well, as they'll do for every player that now comes through that academy, who's going forward. But I don't know much about him, but I see a lot of Arsenal fans worried about losing him. So happy days, bring him in.
Yeah, if he is the next Saka, then fantastic. Look at how well he's done. So yeah, again, I don't know much about him. I had a little Google of him. I think he's 18, so he's a little bit older than Chris Rigg. 18's a decent age.
He's got a goal scoring record.
Yeah. So, but I think this is something that we need to start doing because you look at Man United for the class of '92 and what the likes of Chelsea being able to bring people forward, City with Foden and Cole Palmer, people like that. People are starting to develop people, and we've had Anderson and Miley, and that's about it in the last 15 years. Dating back to Dummett and Carroll, hire Longstaff or 2 in there.
Anderson.
Is that who I said first?
Or was it?
Miley and Anderson. Then a couple of Longstaffs in the middle. Then back to Dummett and Carroll. That's about it in terms of our development. But I think that's been a big part of the takeover, and that's something that Amanda Stavely and everyone said that they want to develop.
Oh, absolutely.
We have made a lot of signings, like Alfie Harrison and Christ knows who else. We've made loads of signings for the academy in the past year or 2. Hopefully this is something that we can do if Rigg and Dubry come in, getting them into the academy, make the academy, and because they're not even PL2 at the minute, are they? I think are the league below, are they in the Premier League? I don't know, I can't remember. Maybe it's the league below. I can't remember. That's how good they are. But yeah, that is a huge part of the development of the club. help the academy, bring people in, like sign people from other teams and bring them up through us and try and get them into our first team to be our next Sakas and Fodens and whoever else. So, yeah, I'm all for signing a young talent, even if I haven't got a clue who they are. As long as they're highly rated and teams where they're at don't want to let them go, mint.
0-0 at the minute between Blythe and Newcastle. Shieldsy makes a good point there. Bobby Clark, he was a top player, man. And we've made actually just let go of a penis. What a joke that is. You'll be pleased to know, though, Keg.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe confirmed today that he's going to take a look at Yankuba Minta in pre-season. So he is going to come back. So at the minute, obviously, he still could return to the Dutch League on loan, or he could go somewhere else. But Eddie Howe wants to have an eye on him. Have a look, see what he's got to offer.
I think he needs to. I think he needs full pre-season just to get a look at him instead of like, Feyenoord come in and be like, I want him back next season. No. Come back. It was on deadline day.
Loan fee at least.
Loan fee. I wouldn't be selling him for now. Nah, I'll tell you that. Well, I suppose it depends on the thing. But I think we need to get him back as soon as the Dutch season ends. Get him back here. Get him in pre-season. Get him over to Japan. Don't know if the Dutch season's finished or not. I don't know if he can maybe go to Australia, but yeah, as soon as he can get back here and start gelling with the team, giving the coaches a look at what he can do, how we can work him in. Obviously, Eddie Howe's good at like the visualization and the development of young kids, so let Eddie Howe have a really good look at him in the black and white with his teammates and see what he can do, because I think he can have an impact for us next season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he just needs that opportunity and we need to have a good look at him. So yeah, don't be sending him out on loan just yet. Let him have a full pre-season. Maybe he's even the first 1 or 2 games of the season. Get him on the bench, see what he can do, give him a little run out. And then the transfer window typically ends about 3-4 games of the season, doesn't it? So, yeah, I think wait until the very last minute. If Feyenoord want him back, just keep them on a shoestring and just be like, we'll see. We'll let you have him if we want you to. But if we don't, then fuck off. But yeah, I think he's worth a shot, and I think he can do something good for our team.
I agree. Kual will be there in Australia.
Good.
Next week. Yeah. So we'll have a little look at him because things haven't went well for him at all. But good luck to him. See how he gets on.
Yeah, I'd like to have a good look at him and I'll see what he can do.
Right then, we've got to talk business now.
Business.
And that is European business. Manchester United tomorrow night. The fight for 6th place. The fight for Europa League. Newcastle win this. They know that they go into Sunday's game against Brentford. That another 3 points will guarantee European football, unless Man U win the FA Cup, which they won't.
That's shit that I hate that.
I hate that thing. It should have been Coventry as well. That's the worst thing about it. Robbed because of VAR. It should have been Coventry. We shouldn't even be having this conversation.
But I don't get how that works. Like, I think if you win the FA Cup, you should be added to the Europa League.
Shouldn't take someone's position away in the league.
Because if you've fought all season long to finish 6th or 7th and get into a specific spot in the Europa League, how can you have that taken away from you because someone won the FA Cup? That's
shocking, isn't it?
To me, that. Like,
imagine if someone, even us though, it's a bit of a miracle getting there after all the injuries and the Tonali and everything else. Yeah. But imagine if like Bournemouth had the season of their lives, which they went for off, to be fair, having a great season. But if they managed to get 6th, out just completely out of the blue, mad old season, like a Leicester special, or Newcastle getting 4th, or even Villa this year. And then they worked so hard on all the Bournemouth fans for the first time in their life are looking forward to like European football. Little Vitality Stadium welcome potentially like Milan and PSV and that. Oh, no, sorry, Man United won the Cup, so well done on that 38-game season. But you're not getting out. It's a disgrace because it could ruin a club's future because even with us, it depends on who you can potentially sign and sell and everything this year, whether you get European football or not. Absolutely. It depends on everything. So, thankfully, I think, Man City should do the job in the Cup. But even a draw for Newcastle tomorrow would make sure we finish above Man United and get top 7. That'll be the first time we'll have finished above Man U ever in the Premier League. That's terrible, isn't it? Imagine 30-odd years.
What's their low? I think their lowest position was maybe 7th under Moisey, was it?
This is statistically their worst season ever.
Is it? Wow. Good job, Ten Hag. Keep going.
Keep them going. But even when, we finished runners-up twice in the Premier League with Man U winning both times. Sickening that, innit? Sickening.
Horrible.
So payback is hopefully on the horizon. But Old Trafford tomorrow, we mentioned team news at the start of the podcast. Let's run through it again. So Eddie Howe has said HIJACK and Wilson are both doubts. They both haven't trained until potentially today because of this illness that they've had. So that's a huge blow. I think he's probably bluffing, and I think he's at the start and Wilson will be on the bench. Maybe. I honestly think he's just chatting shit. I think he's just trying to fluff it. because Ten Hag's came out today and said Martinez should be back. So that's
Really?
a real big bonus for them because I want to see HIJACK running that Casemiro. I want Casemiro and Johnny Evans as centre back. I think we'll win. So hopefully he's trying to say to Ten Hag, "Oh, I got any strikers," and Ten Hag thinks, "Read Sam, we'll just play Casemiro again."
Yeah.
And then you see HIJACK or Wilson up there. I really hope they are fit.
I think one of them will start. Obviously, they have to because we haven't got any strikers. But whether they're ready or not, if they're healthy enough, fit enough, that's going to be the question. So I'd like to see HIJACK start with Wilson on the bench. But yeah, hopefully it is a big bluff from Eddie Howe. Hopefully he's just trying to play their mind games because he's been known for it.
He loves the main game.
Yeah, so yeah, fingers crossed.
That's the mind.
We can get at least one of them fit enough to start and potentially play 90 minutes and maybe get the other one on the bench. Hopefully not need to use them if they're not fully fit, but it is a big worry. Hopefully he's bluffing Man United and kidding us and making us shit our pants for the next 24 hours.
My last away day, obviously Newcastle's last away game, Burnley went 4-4-2 in that game. I think that would work at Old Trafford. I would love to see that tomorrow night. Just spring a surprise out of anywhere. They're real. They're not. They're both starting.
Bang, see you later.
Wilson and HIJACK against Evans and Casemiro. Absolutely smashed them. That would be lush.
Practice on the bench.
But at the same I practice on the bench. But at the same time, if it's true what Eddie's saying, and they haven't trained and they are still ill, then it could well be Barnes on the left, Gordon down the middle, Almiron and Murphy on the right.
Has to be.
Which even then, that's even if you've got one or two of them on the bench. And you can bring on one of them for half an hour, the second half, whatever. It's not the end of the world.
It's not the worst thing. But you look at the team that played against them in the cup. I thought we were going to get smashed.
So I went down there.
It was horrible.
Great, bloody hell. It was
the best stinking.
One of the best games ever. That.
Absolutely smashed.
Lewis Hall. Do it again.
Paper, Crafton down there at the back.
But Lewis Hall, I think, to score again.
Lewis Hall was class.
He was quality.
I thought that was going to be the start of him, and I thought that was the moment that he needed. Right. Obviously, he's had a good couple of weeks, months, however long he's been back in the first team. But between then and now, he was a bit of a question mark, wasn't he? I don't think anyone knew what his future was. Eddie Howe kept saying that he needed development, and he wasn't getting on even when we had any players for subs. He wasn't even getting on as he was just an unused sub. And everyone's played 90 minutes for the last 8 games in a row, and still Lewis Hall can't get on the pitch. What's going on? So thankfully he's figured it out now, and he's getting some regular game time and playing well and all. So I'm a big fan of Lewis Hall. So hopefully Hall and Tino can have some good games, but Trippier's potentially back as well.
That's what I was going to say. So we're talking up these young fullbacks who have been playing well, but Trippier's itching at it, and he got a good 10-second run out on the weekend, so he could do his lap of honour. But you got Southgate there. You got the Euros coming up, so Trippier's going to want that game time. So it's a big call for Eddie Howe that bring him back in. Does he come in at right back, Tino go to left back? Does Horst keep his place, Tino gets dropped? Or does Trippier go to left back? There's a few options there, isn't there?
There's a lot of options, but for me, it's not that big of a decision. I think, fuck Gareth Southgate, fuck the England team. This is Newcastle. We're paying his wages.
Newcastle United we're talking about here.
We play it how we see fit, and I think Tino and Hall have both been in great form. And someone who's been out injured for, however, 2 months, 3 months or something like that, you can't just bang them straight to the team.
No.
So I couldn't give a shit if Gareth Southgate gets there or not. That's none of our business.
Hopefully he's there to take the Man U job. Not watch Trippier.
Take Hall. Take Tino.
Aye. To be
future.
fair,
that's your future.
Aye.
So I couldn't really give a shit about that. For me, it would be nice to see Trippier, but remember before he got injured, he was in pretty poor form, wasn't he?
He was, he came back a little bit better. He had a nightmare spell around the December time, but I just think, the fullbacks are working at the minute. So
they are. So I wouldn't change it right now.
Pace as well.
It's nice to have him on the bench if things aren't going well. Then at least you've got a leader, a veteran, someone so experienced and quality on his day that can come off the bench and try and sort things out. So I think that's the best way to go about it. Bring him on if need be.
And the other players that are back we know as well is Nick Pope. To play. That's a massive decision for me. That needs to be made tomorrow.
I think he starts.
He's got to start him.
I thought he
been on the bench twice now.
Yeah, I thought he would have started at Brighton, to be honest. But I think obviously with Man United being such a big game, I thought the mentality was maybe just give him a week, few days, just rest him a little bit, just in case. Because I think you mentioned in his press conference, the type of injury that he had for a goalkeeper, obviously a dislocated shoulder. It's a big one. As an outfield player, you can maybe get on with it a little bit better, but as a goalkeeper, it's a big big important part of your game.
I think the amount of times he's landed on that shoulder, that's going to be a bit psychological now as well.
So, maybe it's a smart choice. I wanted to say Pope back in for Brighton, but probably a good choice. But hopefully this is the game that he comes back for because it's a big one.
Start Pope, start Joe Linton in the middle of the park now. We've seen him 2 sub appearances, start Joe Linton. And then there's a potential as well for Fabian Shaw to start out of nowhere.
I didn't say that one. I thought he was going to be out for the season. But House says that he's got a chance.
House says he's good. He's pretty much available. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back in as well. So
that's a good question, though, to be fair. Like, would you hire him in over Kraft? It just depends on his fitness.
It does, because again, Kraft's been harried. Yeah. Kraft's been harried, so I would, to be honest. I would. I think about it, if he's good enough to play, then he's the better defender. So
100%. If he's 100% fit and ready to go, then that's no brainer. You hire him in over Kraft.
Could just be how mine games go. I'm going to clear over.
I know. He's probably going to be in the squad.
Won't even travel.
He's probably already in fucking Switzerland.
Seen him down there, neck in the keg. So he's not going to be there. But listen, that game tomorrow, it's a defining week for Newcastle. 2 huge games. We've literally got it in our hands where we can beat the teams in and around us. I really want to, even a draw tomorrow has to be the bare minimum. To make sure we finish above them. But Man United are in the mud, very mudded. The team is shattered. They've got loads of injuries as well. Yeah. Obviously, we've said Martinez is going to be back. Other big players are probably going to be back. You probably see Rashford and Bruno Fernandes back from nowhere. But at the same time, even with those, get the job done for me. I like Garnacho, even though he's quite wasteful on the weekend. I think Garnacho's a good player. Yeah. He's one to look out for. He's one to fear. But we've got the better side. We've got the better manager. Got the better stadium as well. There's falling to pieces. Fucking waterfalls. I'm taking my armbands tomorrow night, my swimming trunks, goggles, a lot.
That's some buckets.
So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm really optimistic. I think we can go there. I'm going to back us to win 3-1. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to see 2-1. And even part of us thinks it could be a 1-1. But I'm going to say it will be, we'll take the lead, they'll come back, we'll go 2-1 up, and then they'll be all out going for it, knowing they've got nothing else to lose. We'll catch them again with the third.
That's very specific detail, and who's going to score the goals? Get a bit more detail there, man, will you?
Longstaff. Joe Linton. Gordon.
Nice. For them?
Garnacho.
Nice. I like it.
If that all came out, now I'm going to have to put it down because
that's what I was saying. Because I knew you wouldn't be able to let
that when that comes in.
It's obviously going to be a close game. We're both fighting for it. Going to Old Trafford, it's never easy. But yeah, I think we're going to scrape it. I really think they are really, really in the mud. Watched them a few times recently. I think that's really, really shit.
Palace as well.
The injuries that they've had, they haven't been great at all. I think we've got enough in the tank. I think we are the better team with people coming back like Pope, Trippier, Joe Linton. Hopefully we've got a bloody striker.
My result prediction may change if we haven't got any strikers.
I think we'll get the job done. It's a draw minimum's good enough. I think 1-1's fine, but I think we'll scrape it out 2-1.
Let's go. Stay tuned to my channel today because I've got a very interesting vlog coming your way tomorrow, different from the norm. And then a reaction and fan cams outside the stadium tomorrow night. I'll be catching up with good old Saeed, Flex. Hopefully I see them in the same spirit you did after the Carabao Cup win. Yeah, that was fantastic. Cheers, everyone that's tuned in live to the podcast. If you've listened on Spotify, Google, Apple, all those audio platforms, we are available on as well. If you're watching back, drop your comments below. Subscribe to my channel TV. Give this one a big like and enjoy yourself.